Hey, Bill here with 30-Minute Woodshop. Thanks for joining. Christmas is around the corner. Now here's a real quick project you can throw together in a matter of a couple hours. Very easy to do. It's a bread box. Okay, so like always, go down here to 30minutewoodshop.com. You can pick up a dimension sketch. These things are fairly easy to make. You can decide, this is actually a two-tier. You may decide to do only one tier, so just cut it in half and it should be easy to adjust. But got this thing going. I saw something similar to this in an antique store. Antique. Okay, this is no way it's an antique. Somebody had made this thing, and it's sitting in an antique store with some outrageous, ludicrous price on it. And it's like, whoa, dude, seriously. So I decided to design my own. I think when I get done, you're going to like what you see. Like I said, 30minutewoodshop.com. You can pull the drawing down, and let's get started. For materials, I got a whole stack of materials here. This is all walnut from my brother-in-law's farm. I've been in his barn for a long time, and he offered some pieces to me, so I said, sure, I'll take that. So I'm going to make this out of walnut. I am going to have a maple back to it, plywood back. And then for the doors, I'm basically making glass doors using this quarter-inch plexiglass. And a couple hinges, and it should go together good. All right. Now, all these pieces are kind of close, but they all require some sizing to the correct dimensions. So let's start making some noise. All my wood parts are sized. Now what I want to do is I want to nip off the corners. So if you're following along on the dimension sketch, all you have to do is measure across, strike a line at 45, and that gives you the registration point. I set this up with a stop block here on my table saw because that's far easier. I don't have a sliding compound miter saw, so I don't have the depth to cut this thing at 45. But this is going to work out perfectly. So if you happen to have something like this, easy setup, let's make some noise. Okay, as you can see, that setup makes for a really nice repeatable cut. Let's keep working. So let's talk about burn marks. You pretty much get burn marks on most things like cherry and maple, sometimes a walnut. Like I got a few burn marks here on this. Everyone will tell you, oh, if you have sharp tools, it helps a lot, but it doesn't take care of it. Also, what really helps is making a last pass. In some cases, you don't have the opportunity, and I didn't have the opportunity on these because they're already as small as they're going to get. But once you come in here, I'll show you an easy trick to get rid of burn marks. So the way to do it is with a card scraper. A sharp card scraper will take off. It's like a plane. It'll take off whatever you need. So if you look, you see that curl. You can see these curls I pulled off before. If you have a sharp card scraper, you get beautiful curls. Okay? And if your card scraper is not so sharp, you get more dust. Anyway, that'll take off burn marks pretty fast. And especially on this edge grain here. Because this is all going to be exposed whenever I assemble this. I open the doors and the doors, people will be seeing this. So I don't want burn marks showing. So you can see even I'm getting curls even though this is an end grain. And a few strokes of this thing, if it's sharp, those disappear. Now the hard part is at the back edge. And there we go. And frankly, once you've done card scraping, you don't have to do any sanding. If I hit this, I'll hit it with 300 or 400 grit. So there we go. So all those burn marks are gone. You can still see I have a few here at the very top. I'm going to leave that because it's going to be covered, so I don't care. Let's keep working. There's a lot of ways to hold these parts together. All right, you can use dowels and biscuits and screws and nails or whatever. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to use two methods. I'm going to use a Craig jig, all right, to do the bottom, and then I'm going to use a biscuit joiner, right, to do the shelf. Now, none of this stuff's taking much of a weight at all, and once I get the back put in place, it'll be fully stabilized, and this will be absolutely perfect for this particular job. Only reason I'm using the biscuits for the center one is it's kind of hard to get the drill in there and come up from the bottom so that you don't see them. The Craig jig, I don't like the Craig jig holes being seen, and I don't like Craig jig holes when they're filled. They look odd to me. Just my personal opinion. But like I said, another great way to do this is use dowels. Dowels are a great way to hold this whole thing together. It work out perfectly. They're a little similar to biscuits. I just happen to have all my biscuit stuff ready to go. That's what I'm going to use. Let's put some holes in the Craig jig. Now, as I mentioned, this is going to be my bottom. And actually what I'm going to do is, when I get done with this, I'm going to glue this in with some CA glue so it doesn't fall out, because it's kind of loose. I don't like that. Place it in here. All I'm doing, I'm not measuring anything. I'm just using 2 fingers. Brings me in far enough. Clamp the back of it. And I'm going to drive it through, in this case, my A hole. No jokes there. We'll call it the alpha hole. And there we go. My first one. I'll do the same thing over here, 2 fingers. And this is the Charlie position. Flip it over, do the same thing. And there we go. And those holes are pretty close. Close enough for government work. So we'll get this thing glued in, do some sanding, and let's keep moving on. So anyway, where we're at today, all right, what I'm doing right now is I need to lay out the location for the biscuits. Now, I'm putting 2 biscuits at each end. That's probably overkill because I'm using number 20 biscuits. I just don't feel like changing the blade to a number 10, which is probably really what I should be using, but I'm lazy. And 20s are fine. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring you in here and I'm going to show you how to easy way to determine, or divide something into 3 pieces. All right, so come on in here. Okay, what I want to show you here is an old carpenter's trick. Basically, if you want to divide something into a number of even spaces, all you do is set your rule. Now you can put it up to 12, anything divisible. I'm doing 3, so anything divisible by 3, I can do it 12 or 9. I'm going to use 9 here. So I set 9 at this point, and I set the corner here. Then I'm going to come back and just drop one here at 3, and one here at 6. All right, so with those 2 in place, this is why I love having a sterret. There we go. So now that I've marked these off, they're equal. I don't have to do any division, any kind of calculation. I've got 3 equally spaced pieces, 2 equally spaced lines. Works out perfectly. Let's start cutting some slots. So we're ready to go with this thing. This is actually a Porter cable. Works out fairly well. gotta say. It's one of those tools that you don't use every day, but when you do need it, boy, I tell you what, it's great to have it. So all I'm going to do here is, there's a little red notch here. Line that up with a line that I made. Now the way it's set up, it's set for 3/4 of an inch, so I can leave the piece on my bench nice and solid. I'll start it up, cut the hole, move it over, cut the hole, same over here, the slots, and be done with it. All right? Okay, if you're not familiar with biscuits, okay, this is a biscuit. It's just a little piece of compressed wood. I think these are, based on the feel of them, they're probably pine or something. Not that much, but they compress them so that whenever they get glue on them, wet, right, they'll expand. They fit in these slots. They're pretty loose when they fit in the slot until they expand. And you can see how that fits in there. Put those on both sides. And then it reinforces this butt joint against the end grain here, so it works out really well in terms of stability and strength. So let's make some cuts into the sides. So we're set up here to put the biscuits in. What I've done is I've used the shelf itself to transfer the lines, and then I went ahead and installed this stop block, so that all I have to do is rest the biscuit joiner on this edge, and I can drive those slots in really easily. Now I have them both set up here together just to make it a little easier and faster. Everything's clamped down so nothing moves, so let's make some noise. So we're ready to start doing some assembly. I got some glue on this. I'm going to put a little bit more on. Then I'm going to fold all the parts and I'm going to go ahead and clamp them. And then I'm going to drive the screws. So let's finish this up. What I'm doing now is I'm trying to cut the rails and stiles for the door, the lower door. The upper door is just going to be a piece of plastic. The lower is going to be a rail and stile door with a plastic inset. So what I've done here is I've set my my dado up to a 1/4 inch high, and then I set it so that it's cut right here in the center. And it's actually off by about 4/100 of a millimeter. So it's pretty much well dialed in here. I don't think 4/100 of a millimeter is going to bother me too much. So I'm going to cut these, cut the dados in these, and then I'll be ready to start doing some more work to develop the door frames. Got a few things done here. I've cut off the rails and stiles. So I left the tenons here, and you can see those fit really nicely. I've also cut a piece of plastic here, so let's do a quick dry fit. Make sure everything goes together well. And actually I want this side out. And there we go. So that's going to be the door. So that's going to be this lower door here. Whoop. So that should be pretty good. Be able to open that, access the bread, be able to see inside of it. And then I'm going to put another piece of plastic up here. Just going to be a plastic door up here, that's all. And then I have my top ready to go. So we're closing in on this. I'm going to get this thing finished first. I want to do the finish before I put on assemble because of the plastic. So we'll get that done here in a couple minutes and do a wipe on varnish. That should be dry pretty fast. And then we're ready to glue that piece up. Well, I've got these rails and stiles pre-finished. All right, I actually ran them through on a 1/8 inch round over bit just to round those edges off to make it a little softer. Everything's dried up, and what I'm going to do now is assemble. And the reason I did this is that way, two things. One, squeeze out glue I can wipe off much easier, and I don't have to worry about getting glue, or I'm sorry, finish on this piece of plastic once I get it installed. So let's glue this up. The door's out of the clamps, looks really good. I've managed to get these decorative hinges installed down here. So this works out pretty nice. And I'm just out, right now I'm in the process of putting in a magnetic latch here. So I've got it in position. I just need to get it screwed down here tight and then positioned. With the latch in, I'm putting in the striker plate. And there we go, perfect. Now we have to work on the upper door. So I've already cut this door to size, and I've also put a couple holes in here. And now I'm going to screw down the hinges. Okay, we're closing in on this. And you can see I've screwed this down or bolted this in. So now all I have to do is screw it down. Well, there we go. Not bad. Now I got to put the back on. So let me grab some nails and we'll tack this thing in place. So we'll put the back on here with some 5/8 brads. All we're just trying to do is hold it in place. And there we go. Well, let's get it wiped down and this project is done. What a sweet project. And it's been a fun project too. I had to say, making this as a Christmas gift for my son is really, I really enjoy doing this, all right? It's not a 30-minute project, honestly. You got to put some time and effort into this thing. It makes a little bit of extra work, but once you get this thing done, it looks really good. It's a really nice little place to put your bread, great little place here to put your pastries and croissants and those kind of things, small pastries. So I think he's really going to enjoy this. Now, like always, if you want to find the dimension sketch, I have a dimension sketch. Make sure you check it out. If you do pull one down, but go down here at 30minutewoodshop.com, pick that up. If you go down below and hit more, you can find some of the tools and things that I use and some links to those. You might find those interesting, so give those a shot. And hey, if you got something out of this, do me a favor and hit like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. So, on that note, folks, I hope you got something out of this. And if you did, like I said, hit like and subscribe. And until next time, good making.